Felt fans, what's going on? We're back to recap Super Wildcard Weekend. And wow, this slate of games, man, did not disappoint. What a weekend of football. A lot of close calls. Some of us did really well in our picks, others not as much.
Well,
But
I
hey,
mean, our my Super Bowl team's still in it, and the team making the Super Bowl, so it's okay. It's okay.
that's true. That's true. I am back. I am your host, Colin. Joining me, as always, Reagan Loescher. I missed last week with the flu. I want to shout out Big G for stepping in while I was what felt like my deathbed battling a fever. It was tough, but
Yeah.
still did my research, still got ready for the picks. Hopefully, you saw my video on social media. I went a perfect 6-0 straight up and 6-0 against the spread this
No, that's
past
great. You watched
weekend.
the podcast, copied Garrett, and then made a video. That's
No,
awesome.
dude. I made my own picks
I,
before seeing Garrett's picks, and Garrett also went 6-0 across the board, which is nuts. Reagan, you went 2-4 against the spread, 1-5 straight up. Your Bears got the win, and the Panthers were able to cover that 10.5 for you. Money line,
yeah,
oh so close as
yeah,
10.5
yeah,
point dogs. So great weekend of football. Excited to dive into all these games, but boy, oh boy, this time of year, there's a lot of NFL news. We're going to bounce around here. We'll start with some coaching and front office news. Of course, the big news that happened today, Mike Tomlin officially steps down as the Steelers head coach. Reagan, this is
yeah.
something we've talked about in this podcast since we started in 2023, where it's like, okay, it's another year of 9, 10, 11 wins getting to the postseason, nothing coming to fruition from that. Last year, we had a big conversation. Remember, we had Wayner on too, and it was like, what do you want the Steelers to do? Do you want Tomlin to be back? Because it's like you're stuck being good, but what is your ceiling with him? And it was one more year, like the all in with Aaron Rodgers. Didn't work out. They got knocked out by the Houston Texans last night, and it was a close game for most of it. And then that Houston defense took over, really blew him out of the water. And Tomlin does not get fired. There was no firing that happened. He
Well, that's
steps
the thing
down,
too. The Steelers keep the streak going. They've never once in their franchise history fired a guy. So,
which is insane. They
well,
had three coaches, and now what makes it interesting is he's stepping
yeah,
down, probably going into TV. But for a team that wants him, they'd have to
like
trade
Sean
for
Payton,
him. Yep,
like Sean Payton a couple years back. Yep, yep.
exactly. Now, I
So that
know
would
I'm
be
seeing a lot of
interesting.
Jets fans that are like, all right, after Aaron Glenn sucks this year, let's trade for Tomlin. I know it's a little too
Well,
early for you, but
I guess yeah. I guess technically we would have the picks to do something like that. It's
yeah.
very interesting thinking about that. And I always find it funny because it's like, not only are you trading the guy away, and if you're the coach getting traded away, but like now you're giving up assets that you would be getting like to the new team. So it's like double screwing you. I mean, I guess they probably kind of give them some say in where they get traded. Like like Sean Payton, definitely like gave him the go ahead on the Broncos and wasn't like, no, I'm not going there. So you got to think the coaches have to approve it, but it's always wild when you see that happening.
Yeah, you're taking away assets that you would then use to build your
Yeah.
roster, which
Yeah.
is interesting. But what are your thoughts on Tomlin ultimately deciding to call it now with Pittsburgh after 19 years and, of course,
I
that winning streak?
think that is because Rodgers was calling it. So I think he was like, yeah, I don't have it to do another rebuild. I feel like if Rodgers and Tomlin both decided they wanted to do one more year, run it back one more time, he would have. But I think with Rodgers, everything coming out that he was done, I think he was like, yeah, I just don't have it in me to do another rebuild and try to draft somebody. I mean, think about it. Like, who are they getting there? Like, are they going to take a Ty Simpson in the
Oh,
draft? Are they going to take a Trinidad Chambliss, or are they going to go out and make a trade for like a Tua or a Kyler Murray? I don't know, but with Tomlin out, Rodgers out, I mean, it'll also be interesting to see who their new head coach is. Who they bring in to replace him, and it also is crazy now too. Like 3 out of 4 coaches are out in the AFC North, and probably the worst one out of all of them kept his job in Zach Taylor.
100% the worst one in Zach Taylor. It's crazy. We've been calling for his job, and all the other three are gone. It would be really cool, though, if in
They fired
2027
him.
Harbaugh's in New York and Tomlin's in New York, if that crazy scenario worked out for the Giants and the Jets. But you see the Ravens owner, he was like, were you interested in Tomlin? He's like, only if John goes to the Steelers.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So funny,
Imagine
man.
that would have been nuts.
Yeah, it's going to be a different territory for Pittsburgh in 2026. But is it crazy to say that it wouldn't be a bad thing if they had a reset year and won maybe 5 games and were able to get up there for a quarterback in this loaded 27 class?
No, it's not. It's not crazy at all. I mean, I think that definitely is in the cards. I mean, it's also crazy to think too, like a guy like T.J. Watt, who's going to go down as one of the best edge rushers ever, still has no playoff wins. So I think they need a hard reset, and I think that's a big reason why they have, been not, I guess, mediocre, but it's hard to even say mediocre when you're making the playoffs. Like, I don't know if that's the best word to describe it. Like above average, I guess you could say over the past 20 years,
Yeah.
but it's clear they maybe need to do a hard rebuild. So I'm interested to see who they bring in at quarterback and stuff next year. And that's kind of why, we'll see. And when we get into the mock draft episodes, this really is not a good quarterback class. But I
No,
still think
it's
there's a
not.
world where like 3 or 4 quarterbacks go in the first round, because when you look at the landscape of the league right now, there's a lot of teams that are going to be in the market for a quarterback.
Supply does not meet the demand in the current
No.
off-season structure and how it stands with these quarterback teams, especially when you consider like a Miami going to move off of Tua and
Yeah.
a Arizona that could move off of Kyler. Now with the new head coach, maybe that changes, but who wants to take on those contracts? And those two teams then need a quarterback as well. So musical chairs, man. We got all off season to talk about that. In other front office news, Matt Ryan officially becomes the president of football for the Atlanta Falcons. And his first order of business was a phone call with John Harbaugh, in which the Atlanta Falcons tweeted out that they conducted an interview with John Harbaugh, even though I'm seeing conflicting reports. So a lot of people are like, Matt Ryan still new at this, how this is getting leaked and getting posted. I don't know. But regardless, new front office team dynamic structure in Atlanta led by Matt Ryan. Interesting, man, because obviously is he the greatest player in Falcons history? You can make that argument. But
Matt
what
Ryan?
experience does he have
Yeah.
building a roster? None.
Yeah. I mean, technically, yeah, I don't know how you I don't know. I mean, it's definitely interesting, a move by them, but I guess they figure, it's time to make a splash, make a change. A lot of people were very surprised with the firing. Why am I blanking out on his
Raheem
name?
Morris.
Raheem Morris. A lot of people were surprised by that. I was one of them, just because how good Atlanta was playing down the stretch, where you could see like he hadn't lost the locker room. But I guess they were like 2 years of below average play with that kind of roster. Like, we're done. Like, you see, we just made some big trades last year, and giving up picks to try to a win now move and getting James Pierce in the draft, and to not really return on that. I guess they've seen enough. And bringing in Matt Ryan, though, very interesting. We'll see how that ends up. But I would think Harbaugh, like, I personally do think the Falcons' job is one of the most attractive jobs with some of the weapons they got there and that young defense. Like, I think that'll be a very popular job there. And also, you got to factor in too how weak that division is. Like, whoever goes there, like, you really do have a fast track to win the division right away.
Yeah, it's interesting that the 3 teams being floated for Harbaugh, Atlanta, Tennessee, and New York. Obviously, Tennessee and New York have the 2 second-year quarterbacks would be in 2026, which is kind of their selling point with the young buck and cap space. But with Atlanta, it's the quarterback you don't know about Penix yet. You're not sold he's your franchise guy, right? But you have an all-world running back in Bijan. You have Pitts, you have London, you have the 2 edge rushers, Walker and Pierce, that flashed as rookies. But you have the easiest division, which makes that appealing.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, they could make the playoffs in year one, where the other 2 teams, like, it's going to be very hard to make the playoffs in year one with how tough their divisions are, because you got to think the Commanders are going to be better. Dallas is going to be better, and we see how good the Jags and Texans are right now. And you would imagine the Colts will be better next year if they can get a healthy quarterback and Daniel Jones back.
Yeah, it's a great point. All right, let's get to some injury news. So unfortunate. George Kittle torn Achilles, man. The Niners just cannot catch a break. I mean, it's just so disheartening that here they are in the divisional round, phenomenal season, and they're going to play this game without George Kittle, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner had his practice window open somehow, some way.
Yeah,
back, which
he technically
is insane.
He technically could make it back for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, which is insane. So that's another topic of conversation, but the injury bug for San Francisco never seems to fade. And for George Kittle, a guy that is already post 30 years old, an Achilles injury, not ideal.
Yeah, no, not ideal at all. Very unfortunate. That's going to be a massive blow. I mean, Tungus has shown a lot of flashes, so he's not going to be like Kittle in the blocking game, and he's not going to be like Kittle in the receiving game, but he's definitely not a bad backup option. I think he'll put up some big production. Like, if you're in dynasty leagues, definitely a guy I would go pick up if he's on your waivers, just because we don't know, like, will Kittle miss any time next year, and you would think Tungus will be a plug-and-play starter right away next year, so just saying, if he's out there, pick him up. But yeah, massive blow for this offense. Ricky Pearsall obviously wasn't able to go either. Hopefully he's back. That could be an upgrade, but that guy can't stay healthy. So it just seems like the Niners are dropping like flies on both sides of the ball. But hey, you never know. I mean, we saw him play Seattle 2 weeks ago. Weren't able to get a lot done, but I trust Kyle Shanahan that he's going to have some adjustments and the offense will look a lot better than last time out.
Yeah, what was that, 13-3 that game?
13-3, or yeah, something like that. I just know the Niners had like less than 200 yards of offense and like 3 points. I forget how much Seattle put up, but they dominated.
Imagine if they had a former 1,000-yard receiver that they paid $120 million. Oh,
yeah.
Man, now would be the time to use that guy if he ever wanted to play for the team and not just speed past the stadium and post it so he can get investigated by the San Francisco police, dude. It's
I didn't even hear about that. What's that about?
Oh, Ayuk, he posted a video of him going 100 as he drove past the stadium, and then like police are like, we're aware of the video of like speeding, and he's like had to apologize and stuff. It's like, bro, how dumb could you be? Like,
bro is just
breaking
tweaking
the law, driving a fucking Lambo 100 past the stadium.
Fuck yeah,
it's insane.
That's lit.
Quitting on your team like that when they need you most right now is just fucking insane to me, man. In other injury news, Nico Collins looked like a pretty bad concussion sustained in the win against Pittsburgh. It's going to be an uphill battle for him to clear protocol for this upcoming game this weekend. And we know, and hey, I tell you what, Houston got the win. That was because of their defense. That Houston offense did not look good. I sat there thinking CJ Stroud looks like shit. Granted, he didn't get a lot of help from his offensive line. We'll get into all of that. But as you look forward to this weekend, for Houston and this offense, not having Nico Collins is a major, major problem.
Well, and listen, this is why you draft two wide receivers on day 2, in Noel and Higgins. And this is why you go out and get a trade for Christian Kirk, for a cheap deal. You get guys like that because Nico Collins' injury history, but also you're trying to help develop CJ Stroud in year 3, a guy who showed some flashes but has regressed a little bit. So this is why you go out and get all those guys so that if a guy is to miss time, you have that. Also, I'm curious Tank Dell's thing. I guess he's out for the year. I know there were talks he'd be back in the regular season, but I haven't heard anything. I would imagine he's done since I haven't heard anything either way. But, obviously missing Nico is going to hurt. I think Higgins will slide into that Nico Collins role. I think he could have a big game against New England, especially if, and I know we're going to get into him probably next. I don't know if he was on your list, but Christian Gonzalez also got a concussion for the Patriots against the Chargers.
Yeah.
So that could be massive. Because if he shadows Higgins, it'll be interesting though. Hey, if Christian Kirk showed us anything last week, he's still got some juice in the tank.
Yeah, dude, that was out of nowhere, man. Christian Kirk with a legacy game. Did you see Stephen A. Smith today?
Yeah, that was wild.
About Christian Kirk, bro.
Yeah, called him Charlie Kirk. That was nuts.
Oh, it's so bad. That's so bad. How do you fuck that up, man? It
beats
was funny.
me.
The video was kind of funny because he's such a clown, but
oh yeah, beats me. Yeah, I was surprised by that.
Professionalism, bro. Jesus. All right. In other bad injury news for wide receivers and for the Bills, it's not that these guys are household names in Gabe Davis and Shavers, who showed some flashes this year. They both tore their ACLs. That depth chart in Buffalo is not looking good at receiver. It's down to Shakir, Brandon Cooks in his rejuvenation, and now Keon Coleman at wide receiver 3, a guy who's been a healthy scratch at times this year, who doesn't have a choice but to step up and be that first-round pick that they selected going into this weekend. And you have to wonder, man, it's not that these guys were necessarily game breakers, but Gabe Davis has been there for a while, came back to Buffalo, understands the system, has a chemistry with Josh Allen. Shaver's made some plays, you're just running out of bodies.
They
Right?
are running
And
out of
it's like,
bodies quickly.
and it's not like this passing attack has been super potent this year. They clearly, their biggest need on offense, I think the whole team, is wide receiver and getting Josh Allen help. But does he have enough help for Buffalo to continue to make a
Let's
run?
not
To
forget
take
who
down
the
a
Broncos
Denver?
have on that defense. I mean,
Yeah.
like that, their secondary is one of their strong suits. I mean, they got the reigning Deepway in the secondary, and then you go out and draft a guy in the first round, Jahdae Barron. So they got some sick talent there, and Riley Moss too ain't bad at all. So they definitely got a good, legit secondary. I almost wonder too, like with all these injuries, like I know Surtain doesn't normally play in the slot. Are they going to try to like maneuver it that he can line up and shadow Shakir? I mean, at that point, or is he going to like follow Kincaid? I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, you're almost better off taking out their like whatever weapons they have. You got to think Denver's going to stack the box too and be like, all right, Josh Allen, like we're going to take out James Cook. You can beat us with this like makeshift wide receiver crew you got, because it doesn't matter. As good as Josh Allen is, if these receivers can't get separation, it doesn't matter. It's not a Josh Allen thing. I mean, we saw, in that Cleveland-Pittsburgh game a couple weeks ago when DK was out, Calvin Austin was out for the Steelers. It didn't matter. Like Rodgers had all the time in the world, but these guys could get zero separation. So it gets to a point where it does not matter who your quarterback is if the wide receivers can't get open.
I know. And it's like, hey, James Cook, the rushing leader this year, why wouldn't Denver do everything they could to just take away that run game?
Jacksonville
and to
did.
make these receivers beat them, right? You took Jahdae Barron, who can play the slot, for this reason, because Allen targeting Shakir, I think he completed his first 10 passes to Shakir.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's clearly going to be his Mr. Reliable in this game. Denver clearly knows that. So I think they're going to do everything they can to take away the slot in that run game and make the outside receivers try to make plays, because we know Keon Coleman struggles with getting separation, and it's going to be more difficult against these Denver DBs.
Yeah, that's what it's been for them. I mean, Shakir's been his Josh Allen safety blanket in the playoffs these past couple of years, so he's going to be trying to target him. So got to take him out.
Yep. Last piece of news. Oh no, sorry, I got two more. One bad, one good. You're gonna really like the good one though. The bad one: Jordan Addison arrested again today, trespassing near a Tampa casino. I don't really know what that entails. His lawyer said the video will come out. He'll be exonerated. He didn't do anything wrong. But it's interesting. Jordan Addison in the news again for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I saw a funny graphic going around about that. He has 3 touchdowns this season and 3 arrests in his lifetime. So it's wild, just wild. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, the dude is so talented. It's just he can't stay out of trouble, it seems.
I know, dude. Him and Rashee Rice, man, just can't stay out of the news for the wrong reasons. Just play ball, You guys can make a shit ton of money if you just play ball. Why is he even at the casino? You don't got to be at the casino, Jordan. You can leave. No need to trespass.
Yeah, I can't wait for that video to come out. I'm curious what that's going to look like.
And last piece of news.
What's the last piece of news you got?
The Panthers are going to pick up Bryce Young's 5th-year
What, I freeze on your screen? What's going on?
All right. And the last piece of news, the Panthers are going to pick up Bryce Young's 5th-year option. Worth of note, there's never been a number 1 overall pick quarterback whose 5th-year option was not picked up. But it's a good sign that Carolina, after that first year that was very shaky and him getting benched for Dalton, that they feel comfortable enough with Bryce Young that they want to pick up that option and move forward with him as their franchise quarterback. And he did make significant strides this year. There is no doubt, like in terms of most improved players, he's in that conversation this year. So you being such a big Panthers guy all season long, I know you would love this Bryce Young news.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear he deserves it. And he's going to be their franchise guy. I mean, he brought him to the playoffs this year, had a great year, and you saw what he did in the playoffs. He had a phenomenal game against the Rams. I mean, a couple throws you would like to go, different ways, but then you look at the guys, the supporting cast around him, and it's like, listen, if they can really get this guy some weapons, continue to invest like they did, with Tet McMillan. And hey, Jalen Coker, that's a diamond in the rough they found there. Seems like he's a guy. I know they tried on Leggett. That seems like a miss, but if they can figure out the tight end position, they're a team I think is very interesting too for Kenyon Sadiq. If they can get him at Oregon, he could be nice for that offense, because I do think they're missing a reliable tight end. I know Tommy Tremble's shown, some flashes, but I think that would be huge for the development as well. But yeah, I think that's great. If you're a Panthers fan, you should be excited about how this season went. I mean, it was house money making the playoffs, and you went toe to toe with the Rams in that game. And really, you could say they should have won that game. Like, to me, the Panthers were the better team that day. Ultimately, it's just hard to stop them when they have that much talent.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get right into the game. Why not? Carolina drops
Yeah.
it 34-31 to the Rams. Of course, it took Matt Stafford doing MVP type stuff at the end of the game to retake the lead and get the win ultimately. But for Carolina to hang 31 points against this Rams defense that has been amongst the best in the league all season long, in Bryce Young's first postseason start was really impressive. Throwing for 264 yards, a touchdown, did have a pick. Chuba Hubbard punches two in. Bryce Young also added one on the ground, showing his legs. That's really when he's at his best in the red zone. I love when Bryce Young uses his legs. He's so damn good. And Rico
Mm-hmm.
Dowdle, interestingly enough, 5 carries for 9 yards compared to Chuba Hubbard's 13 for 46 and 2 touchdowns. And Rico Dowdle said after the game that this will play into his free agency decision and how his decreased workload at the end of the year he wasn't necessarily thrilled about. So Rico might have played his last game in Carolina going 5 for 9 yards. Not ideal.
Yeah, I didn't really get that watching the game. I was like, I understand Chuba was playing well, but I'm like, the dude has so much juice. If you watched Rico, obviously having multiple 200-yard games this season, I mean, how do you not give that guy more touches? Rico on the 1-year, $3 million prove it deal, hit a couple incentives as well. So somebody's going to give him a contract this offseason. Whether or not it's Carolina, I would think somebody will bring him in to be their starting running back with what he showed this year. I'll speak on Carolina first. Like I said a little bit already. I mean, it was house money, hell of a season. Panthers fans should be excited for their future because it seems very bright. Another team where you're like, hey, they could run this division for a little bit. It is wide open right now. I mean, really, like going into next year, you can make a case for all 4 teams. That just shows how open that division is and, how much each team has to be excited for with their future. And then for the Rams, it's like, it's a win. But for a team that everyone's saying is a Super Bowl favorite, like it's not one you're happy about. I mean, on paper, they're way more talented than the Panthers. You lost to them in the regular season, and then you were very close to losing to them again. And you match these teams up, and it's like the Rams should be destroying them. And they made Matt Stafford uncomfortable at times. Puka kind of had his way, and then he kind of got taken out, and then it was Devontae Adams. But ultimately, for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, you'd like to see them dominate more on their way there, where it's
Yeah.
like, I would like to see it next week against the Bears, like a better game. But if I'm somebody who thinks the Rams are going to win it, like I don't have a whole lot of confidence going into next week. But then again, it's like they're playing the Bears, who another team. It's like, hey, you need a lot of late game heroics to beat Green Bay, and you need a couple things to go your way, and you're out of the playoffs as well. So you can say the same thing for them.
Yes, I want to dive more into the Rams, but back to the Panthers real quick to wrap up there because you mentioned Jalen Coker, 9 for 134 and a touchdown here. Undrafted guy, 2024, overtaking the first round pick of 2024 and Xavier Legette is just crazy impressive compared to Legette's 1 for 8 yards on 4 targets in this game. I think Carolina is going to move forward in 2026 with Ted as their 1, who had 5 for 81, also had a good game himself, and Coker as the 2. I absolutely agree with you. Like, tight end is such a need for this team,
Mm-hmm.
and it's such a great draft to have that need. Not even if it's Kenyon Sadiq, like Claire, the Ohio State tight end just declared. I know the Vanderbilt tight end is really good as well. Like,
Oh,
it
Eli
is
Stowers,
looking up.
yeah.
Eli Stowers, it's shaping up to be a really good tight end class that I think Carolina would be wise to add a big body target like that to work the middle of the field for Bryce Young. So that's more so draft talk that we'll get into, but you got to feel pretty good about where you are as a Carolina Panthers fan, despite the loss sitting today, because you would have signed up for this shit in August any day of the week. And not even from being in the playoffs, but the young players that developed through the season, JC Horn being an absolute stud, like the weapons around Bryce Young, the young guys establishing themselves where you feel comfortable about at least some of the guys. All positives. All positives. For the Rams, I mean, 34 points. Love to see that. Kind of shocked at how the defense played. And it's not ideal because Chicago's offense is way more high powered than this Carolina offense. I don't think that's even a debate. It is interesting, too, that, hey, Stafford, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick. Looks freaking great. Run game wasn't necessarily disruptive, but they got the job done between Kyron and Blake Corum. But look at the target share, dude. Puka, 18 targets. Devontae, 13. Next highest, Higbee at 3. They commanded more than 75% of the targets, Puka and Devontae. That's the recipe. That's where you get Puka 2 touchdowns over 100 yards. Devontae 5 for 72. But still, on 13 targets for Devontae Adams, that's not necessarily ideal. Is that going to get it done? Is that enough to get you to a Super Bowl? I don't know. I almost think the Rams
I
have
don't
to be
think
more
so.
efficient on offense to make it all the way to the dance.
Yeah, I definitely don't think so. I don't think it's enough at all. Like I said, I wasn't super impressed with the Rams. I don't think they'll win the Super Bowl. Like maybe they could piece it together, but you know, they've seemed to struggle a lot more than some of these other teams that are kind of the same caliber as them, where you know everyone's just like, and I don't really get it. I guess Vegas does know, but it's just to me, it's surprising that they're giving them such like big odds to win it. Where it's like to me down the stretch, Seattle's looked better, you know, Houston's looked better. Denver's looked better, and it's just like I guess they're just giving the Rams their flowers, but I don't know.
Hey, a win's a win, especially in the postseason. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
They did lose this Carolina team during the regular season, so getting them back on the road, good to see. But hey, 34-31, at least it was a fun game to kick off the NFL playoffs. A little back and
Yeah,
forth.
and that kind of
2-minute drill
shows you
action.
like how disrespectful the line that was too.
Yeah, 11.5. I was like, bro, like, yes, do I think the Rams are going to win? Absolutely, because I think experience will win out in this game and talent. But 11.5 for the atmosphere that was in that stadium in Carolina. But they've been waiting a decade for this shit. Like even Cam Newton was back in the house. Like that line was very disrespectful.
Yeah.
All right, you good on this game? You want to move on?
Oh, I'm
to,
good.
Bears
Let's
Packers?
move on. Yeah.
Bears Packers, man. Wow, what a comeback from Chicago, down 21-3 at half to get a 31-27 win. First of all, that Chicago defense flipping the switch in the second half. Very impressive to allow only 6 points to this Green Bay team. I don't really give a shit what the injury report looks like. That's an impressive feat against a Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs-led offense. And Caleb Williams, man, the comeback kid is what they're calling him. And it's working. How long will it work for? I don't know, because at some point you're not going to be able to pull off a miraculous comeback like this. But to throw for 361 yards, did have 2 picks, but threw 2 touchdowns in his first playoff game in comeback fashion. Really, really impressive. DeAndre Swift punched one in on the ground. Of course, DJ Moore scored the game winner. Colston Loveland, man. Holy shit. This kid is a stud. And he's still only 21 years old. 8 for 137. 4 yards short of Kittle's record, I believe, for most receiving yards by a rookie tight end in a single game.
Are you ready to eat crow?
On what?
Because you were saying everybody should be You've been getting a lot of flack in the TikTok comments. I forgot to bring it up to you, but there was a clip we posted about how Tyler Warren is going to be better and the Colts are going to be, or the Bears are going to be regretting taking Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren.
Well, I'm not necessarily eating crow because they are both freaking studs. They're both good. But Tyler Warren started off really hot. Quarterback got hurt. He fell off. Colston Loveland has ascended. If you told me today I could have my choice which one, I'd take Loveland. I would take Loveland. But I don't think it's like Loveland's a stud and Warren sucks, and I'm totally eating crow on that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You might have to get in the TikTok comments and defend yourself. You got people coming at you.
Bro, when was this TikTok from? What the fuck?
It was from October. I could pull it up because I noticed recently that a bunch of them have been like commenting on it. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Bears will regret drafting Loveland over Warren for years to come. I know it's too soon, but early returns are not looking good.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I absolutely think Tyler Warren is the better player. Like Loveland, yeah, he has the tools. He has the long frame. Like he made plays at Michigan with some shit quarterback play, absolutely. But Tyler Warren was just a different breed of athlete where he's almost like a unicorn. Like you don't have tight ends in college that are throwing passes and that are running the football to that degree. Like I said it before the draft, Reagan, I was like, who's the last guy we saw take an end around to the house? Brock Bowers, and look at what he did last year. Just different athletes at the position. And I was like, Tyler Warren, I love so much more than Colston Loveland. And then Loveland goes 10, and you're like, shit, like in that Bears offense with Ben Johnson, like, could he be something big? We haven't seen him do anything yet, so it's a little disappointing. But Tyler Warren just looks like an absolute freak. He looks like he's going to be a multi-time All-Pro in this league already.
Do you think the Bears will?
So I'm just laughing. No, it's not that bad. I'm just laughing at what the comments are. Update ? We're good over here. Loveland for president. Damn, let's have this combo again. Crying emojis. Can you revisit this now, please? This didn't age well. I think that was really it.
They both.
Warren is just a guy. Loveland is a superstar.
I think Loveland is going to be a superstar, but I also think Warren is too. So.
Yeah, and I like how they use both Loveland and Kmet.
Yes, I do too. But Loveland's clearly the better receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, Kmet didn't have a reception in this game, and Loveland was targeted 15 times.
Did have a 2-point conversion, though.
He did. That he did. So
pretty even.
Hey, you know what? And I you know what I said too? I was like, Loveland's got the tools in this Ben Johnson offense. Like you could do major things, but we haven't seen it yet. Now we've seen it, and he is like the youngest tight end in the league. So just want to shout him out. I'm trying to get him in every single dynasty league I can because he looks like a superstar. Absolutely. Bears fans, fucking hit my comments now. I'm giving you your flowers. For the Packers, man, I tell you what, if Josh Jacobs is averaging less than 3 yards a carry, they probably are not going to win that game. And you got to think if they were able to run the ball more efficiently in the second half, maybe they don't blow that lead. Jordan Love got thrown for 323 yards and 4 touchdowns, only getting sacked 1 time. I mean, what more could you want from that guy other than closing out the game, right? But lack of run game. He found Dobbs for 124 and a touchdown. Matthew Golden finally gets his first career NFL touchdown, going for 84 yards. Reed scored. Watson scored. The whole crew scored from the receiver core. The run game was not there. The defense just, once they lost Micah Parsons, man, they really became a completely different unit. And like you'd say, oh, of course they did. But no, genuinely, it was night and day. It wasn't even comparable how much worse this defense got. And I know there was a lot of talk of Matt LaFleur potentially getting fired and shit, which I think is ridiculous. LaFleur
that is crazy.
Is a hell of a coach. So I think that's just asinine. And of course, you could blame injuries for a lot of teams, but losing Parsons and Tucker Kraft on a lesser level clearly impacted this team greatly. And it led to their demise.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, they still should have won the game. I don't know what happened in that second half with the play calling. They kind of took their foot off the gas pedal. They were killing him in what was it? It was either shock. I forget. They were killing him in shotgun, I believe, in the first half, and then they switched to under center in the second half. Like, it was just weird how they took their foot off the gas pedal, and then it was like almost too late. And then when the Bears took it, it was like then their offense was able to work again. Where it was like, and I never understand it with teams. It's like, just keep doing what you're doing. Like I guess the Bears made adjustments too in the second half, but I don't know. I would have, and it's similar to that Chargers-Jaguars playoff game a couple years ago where it was like, it looked like all Chargers in the first half, and then it was like a crazy second half heroic comeback. But that's sports. But I mean, ultimately, I don't think the Packers have to be worried. You'll get Micah back next year. You'll be in a good spot. Yeah, it sucks they don't really have the capital over the next 2 years. But I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, the Cowboys have their pick this year. The Cowboys have their pick next year. Technically, one of them is going to be going to the Jets, but regardless, they don't have their first round of the next 2 years, which hurts. And then for the Bears, I mean, the Iceman. Dude, this is why I love the Bears. I still think they can get to the Super Bowl. You can't count them out in any game. And honestly, I was putting it in a group chat, but like in a couple group chats. But it's Caleb, like, everyone was just like, Jaden Daniels is better than Caleb Williams. And everyone was just like, yep, that argument's over. Like, Jaden Daniels is better. Like, how could the Bears like miss on this? And it's just like, now it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely
like,
an interesting debate. Recency bias, though, obviously playing into it as well.
Because Jaden was hurt all year. Caleb got with Ben Johnson, and they added some weapons that have really flourished at the end of the season. Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. And Caleb looks like a completely different player. He's not getting sacked nearly as much. Granted, adding 3 really good interior offensive lineman, including a first-team All-Pro and Joe Tooney, helps as well. But he's not.
And he
getting
seems like
sacked
he's
as
better
much.
in the pocket, though.
Better
Because
in
we
the
watched some
pocket.
bad games last year where he was just like not throwing it away.
Yes, ice in his veins. Like doesn't waver under pressure. That throw he made on 4th down, they're calling it a jump man throw. Like people are saying Jordan Brand needs to hire him. He's in Chicago. It makes too much sense with the jump throw. Like that was a stupid, ridiculous throw. I was talking about my coworker today who's a Bears fan, and it's like not hyperbole to say that's the greatest throw in Bears franchise history.
Yeah, well, it's just crazy though, because that is an interesting debate now, where it's like everyone was just already like writing it off, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
let's relax,
Like those
like
Bears
it's 1 year.
fans trying to write it off like Loveland's better than Warren all of a sudden. Like, whoa, they're young bucks, man. We got a lot of ball left to be played.
But I'm pumped for the Bears next week.
And how about
I'm
Ben
loving.
Johnson? I love the energy. Fuck the Packers. Fuck those
Yeah.
guys. Like, bringing the rivalry in there, having that juice, that emotion as a head coach. Like, granted, will people see that around the league and start to not like him, and it might affect hiring down there? Maybe, but fuck it, dude. It's rivalry football. It's playoff football. I love that energy. You can't believe the Bears posted it, him going, fuck the Packers. It's
Oh
great.
yeah, they don't give a shit.
But hey,
it's awesome.
Who's really good friends, boys, with Matt LaFleur? Sean McVay. You think he saw that, man. Rams Bears this upcoming weekend. McVay saw that. I think the Rams are going to come in here and try to hang a big number on Chicago and Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I don't. We'll see what happens there, but I'm feeling pretty good about my 40-1 future. I definitely am. I'm feeling good about that one.
I'm excited for you, man. But I got the Rams beating the Bears. Well, but that's for
Yeah, that's for next week.
All right, let's move over to the AFC here. The Buffalo Bills take care of the Jags 27-24. Josh Allen just felt inevitable in this one to me. I always thought the Bills were going to pull this one out. Allen goes for 273 and a touchdown against the stout Jacksonville defense, losing weapons left and right. But you know what? You got Shakir, 12 targets, 12 receptions, 82 yards. Mixes it up. Kincaid gets in the end zone. Knox makes some plays. Brandon Cooks, 3 for 58, including that big 36-yarder that really had a big say in the game. Ray Davis did have a fumble, but ultimately didn't hurt him. They were able to get the win here, and Josh Allen sacked only one time, man. This Bills offensive line, people don't give them enough credit. They're consistently top 10 in terms of run and pass blocking year in and year out. And this Jaguars front ain't no joke. I mean, I will say Josh Hines, Allen, seemed to be around the quarterback and on James Cook all game, who only had 15 for 46, a little bit over 3 yards a carry. Number 1 rushing defense, Jacksonville, versus number 1 rushing team, Buffalo. Usually the defense prevails, and they did in this one. But ultimately, it wasn't enough, man. Trevor Lawrence, 18-30, 207, 3 touchdowns, but 2 INTs that were tough ones. ETN, pretty good on the ground, 2 and 4 for 51. Lawrence even got his legs going, man. I mean, it's tough because Jacksonville did enough to win this game. They just couldn't get it done at home. Parker Washington goes for over 100 and a touchdown. ETN scores through the air. Brian Thomas scores. Jacoby Myers was pretty quiet in this one, only 1 for 12, which, I know this is more of an offseason question, but this Jacksonville receiver room really established itself down the stretch, Reagan, with Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, and Brian Thomas, and of course Travis Hunter, who they traded 2 first-round picks for, was out second half of the season. It's becoming a crowded room, but if you're the Jags and you're a Jags fan, you feel really good about where this offense is heading into 2026 under Liam Cohen.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing for the Jags to be ashamed about. I mean, as that reporter said, hang your head high.
Yeah,
but no, I mean the Jaguars.
Why is it getting so much commotion in the
I
media?
don't know. I guess because it's rare to see like reporters just like being nice and stuff.
Being nice, yeah.
Not just going for clickbait. But no, I mean the Jaguars. They fought hard. Good season for them. I mean, I was impressed with them for the most part. I mean, unfortunately, Lawrence. We kind of saw shades of what we saw from first half Lawrence with some of the interceptions. I mean, that last one really isn't his fault. Jacoby Myers has got to catch that.
Yeah.
Hits you in the hands. But regardless, I mean, he made some mistakes in that one. And, when you're playing a guy like Josh Allen and making mistakes, it's going to be tough to win. And the Bills prevailed in this one. I thought Jacksonville was going to come out. Ultimately, the Bills did. So I was impressed with the Bills were able to do. And even with Josh Allen getting banged up a couple different ways with the finger and the leg, and it's like, dude was falling apart, but he still put up a big game. Like you said, they kept him upright. And I would think James Cook will have a better game against Denver. I know I was saying how I think Denver, if I was Denver, how I'd stop him, but Jacksonville had been known for stopping that, so it might be more of a James Cook game next week if they want to get it done. We're going to have to try to be a James Cook game to get it done with how stout that secondary is for Denver. But yeah,
I'll tell you
just
what,
a good
man.
game.
It was a good game. I was all over Buffalo in this one. They are my Super Bowl pick. If you haven't seen my video circulating on social media, apparently it's getting a lot of headwinds on Facebook. So not a big Facebook guy myself, but check us out on Facebook.
Well, that's the one you copied that Garrett did, right? The bracket?
No, dude, I didn't copy any bracket. I had the flu, dude. I wasn't looking at shit. I just, as soon as I felt healthy enough to record my video, I recorded my video. I didn't see shit. I didn't listen to shit. Big G's a smart man, apparently, because we both went 6-0 across the board. But I got the Bills running the table here. So, of course, I had faith in Josh Allen, but I didn't think this game was going to be easy. Like, playing down at Duval County, it's not easy. This Jags defense is legit. Trevor Lawrence was a different level this year under Liam Cohen. That whole offensive arsenal really just kind of bounced back. Jacoby Myers was awesome once he got there, and they were a legit threat. I mean, they were a 13-win team, which is crazy. But I never thought it was going to be an easy one. But I felt confident given the way Josh Allen plays in the postseason. And I know they said in the broadcast, Jim Nantz, that he has 8 rushing touchdowns, make it 9 before that second one he had. The first 8 all happened in the second quarter of playoff games, which is a crazy stat. So I felt good about Josh Allen in there. He did score, so he broke the streak. He scored again later. Now, one thing before we move off of this game, I want to talk about not the actual game, but Tony Romo getting a lot of heat for the way that he called this game as the color commentator. And I'm not going to lie, when I was sitting there watching Romo, when he did that little intro about, they could be the underdogs except they're favored all, and he was just rambling, people were like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? What are your thoughts on Tony Romo, Reagan? Are you a fan of him in the booth?
I felt like they were just like, it felt like I was listening to like a Bills announcers, the way they were talking about it. And I understand Josh Allen's like, a top 5 player in the league and like one of the faces of the leagues, but it just seemed like they were talking so highly of the Bills, and you were listening to like a Bills like home announcer.
Dude, I think Romo sucks. I think he's awful. I think Jim Nantz hates him. Like, if you actually listen to their interactions, I don't think Jim Nantz likes Romo at all.
Yeah, hard to say, but it makes you think.
Dude, he was bad. He was really bad. I'm not looking forward to hearing him again next weekend. He's probably with the Bills again. It's gonna be
probably.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that is the CBS game. Is Bills Broncos.
I know they have the AFC, so like it makes sense, but obviously there's another AFC game. So interesting, man. All right, let's move on here to Niners Eagles. San Fran takes care of business on the road as 5.5-point dogs, 23-19, despite losing George Kittle, who smacked down a bottle of tequila after tearing his Achilles.
I forgot to say that earlier.
A lot of talk, man. Yeah, the owner's box, they got him a bottle of Patron. So, doesn't help with the pain, but maybe it helps with the mental pain of going down in the postseason, man. And you gotta say, on one hand, obviously losing George Kittle outside of McCaffrey, the most important player. I don't know. Trent Williams is a fucking animal too, Hall of Famer. But one of the most important players on this team, not even from a skill level, but as a leadership perspective. But maybe him going down kind of helped this team rise up to the occasion and fight for their guy in a way, right? Because what a gutsy win on the road in Philadelphia, hostile environment, defending Super Bowl champions without Kittle to go in there and get that win. And really, Robert Saleh and that defense deserve so much credit because Jalen Hurts was sacked one time in this game for 1 yard. They were not getting pressure on him really all game. He was just sitting back there. But they did so well on the back end in disguising their coverages that it's like Hurts was a statue. He didn't know where to go with the ball. And the Eagles offense really, really faltered. I mean, Barkley ran for over 100 on 26 carries. Like,
I was
okay,
going to say, yeah, just crazy
fine.
volume.
That's a crazy volume. It's a fine game. Goddard ultimately got the touchdown near the goal line and then caught another one who, what a touchdown machine Dallas Goedert is, who I believe is a free agent. So interesting to see what Philly's going to do there at tight end. But Jalen Hurts, 20 of 35, 168 yards and a touchdown. Granted, A.J. Brown, 3 for 25 on 7 targets. Couple deep balls, man, that were right there that you think prime A.J. Brown makes those plays.
Well, even the one on that final drive, too, the slant that hit him wide open, and he could just go in stride and pick up a big game. Not ideal.
What's going on with Philly? Like, because clearly...
Well, they did fire Patullo already.
They did fire Patullo, yes. But A.J. Brown's going around signing jerseys for guys. He left without talking to the media, gave a couple hugs. Like, seems like A.J. Brown has a Jalen Hurts problem, is the way that I kind of read it. But the problem is the way they structured his contract, there's so much freaking dead cap. It'd be like, not Russell Wilson level, but it'd be real like the most dead cap ever taken for a receiver if they were to trade him because of all those void years. So it's almost a
I
weird
still think they move on
situation
from
where
him.
They both kind of feel like a divorce is necessary here, but financially, I don't know how it's going to work. But you got to come out of this game being like, what the fuck happened here with Philadelphia? Because you have a lot of the same guys that they're still one of the most talented teams in the league. To lose at home to a beaten up Niners team like this is pretty disappointing.
Oh, it's very disappointing. It's extremely disappointing for the Eagles. I mean, it's to go out like that as the defending champs. It's a bad season for them. I mean, I guess the good thing is, and I was talking to an Eagles fan earlier, it was quite the spin zone, but it's like, hey, listen, we bad playoff, make the Super Bowl, bad playoff, make the Super Bowl, bad playoff. So they're like, well, next year we should be back in the Super Bowl based off the history. I'm like, hey, that's one way to look at it. But I mean, listen, they still got a very talented roster. I'm not worried about them. For the Niners, I mean, hell of a win. I mean, I think the closing line was like 6.5. So with all those injuries and stuff, to still go out there and get the win, lose Kittle, like you said, that's crazy. And I was impressed with Purdy. I think he could have done a little bit more. It was very windy though, but I think they can have a good game plan and still shock Seattle next week. Like, I know a lot of people are going to be like, division rival, 2 weeks notice to like prepare for it, yada, yada, yada. But like, I don't know, man. San Fran's fighting, dude, and Kyle Shanahan seems to have a way of, getting them at least to the NFC Championship. So I don't think they're going down easy.
I don't think they are either. And and you look at this game log, it's like, well, McCaffrey's going to do his thing. He had over 100 total yards, did a lot in the receiving game, 2 receiving touchdowns. They fucking won with Demarcus Robinson, their leading receiver, 6 for 111 and a touchdown.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Let's not forget Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean both were voted All-Pro at their respective positions. So that's with a pretty elite secondary in Philadelphia, at least a couple pieces, right? McCaffrey, 6 for 66. You expect that. Third leading receiver, the fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, 4 for 49. Outside of that, it's 1 catch from Jennings for 45 yards. Tonjes 1 for 14. And you're really, that's what you got from the passing game. And it's like Demarcus Robinson, our star back and our fullback, like not even a receiver. Like, it's insane. Not even one of their top 4 like receiving options they would have envisioned before the season. Right. So it's just, I mean, shout out to Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy for scheming that up and finding his guys and then making plays. But man, you got to give a lot of credit to that coaching staff in San Francisco, genuinely, especially Robert Saleh, who, if he doesn't get a head coaching job with 9 openings with the performance he's done with the San Fran defense, losing their star players, something's wrong.
No, I think he 100% will. I would be shocked if he doesn't get the head coaching job somewhere. It does make you think, though, is he going to be a little bit distracted? We've seen that with teams before as their coordinators going for a lot of interviews. They get a little distracted and all that's going on. But in all reality, like, he does deserve a head coaching job with the job he's done. It's a very uphill battle to lose all pros like that.
Yeah, that's not even thinking about the guys that they lost in the offseason, too. Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga, like, Travarius Ward, it is insane, man. So Niners, just an organization that knows how to win. All right, let's move on here to Sunday Night Football. The Pats take care of the Chargers 16-3. We can have a bigger conversation about the Chargers, but let's start with the Pats here. Drake May, his first playoff game. I mean, he did his job. Threw for 268, a touchdown, a pick, 17 to 29. He did get sacked 5 times, which isn't necessarily ideal, but, he also added 66 yards on the ground, the leading rusher for New England. So, May, over 300 total yards. You're going to be pretty happy with that. You just wish they put a little bit more points on the board. Granted, I know this Chargers defense is legit. Jesse Minter getting a ton of head coaching looks, and rightfully so, the DC for LA. But you like to see him kind of finish more of these drives and not just score one touchdown, which was Hunter Henry. But, hey, they got the win. Their defense really, really showed up. Ramondre, 3 for 75 receiving, 10 for 53 on the ground.
He looked good. He looks good right now.
Look, I'm changing my tune on Ramondre Stevenson. The second half of the season, like, I've watched a lot of Pats ball. He's a good player, dude. I genuinely think he's a good player. Like, he is. Like, I still think Henderson obviously has a higher ceiling, is way more explosive, but they do mesh well together. And now, do I think Ramondre should be out touching Travion? No. But shit, dude, like, he is a good player, and he's played really well down the stretch for New England. And that two-headed monster in the backfield when, let's be honest, they don't have the sexiest wide receiver room. Kayshon Boutte went 4 for 66. Diggs, 2 for 16. And they still get the win here.
Yeah, so right away, my biggest takeaways from this one are the Chargers. It's pretty evident losing Slater and Alt. It's just no time at all. Bad play calling.
6 sacks
bad play calling
Herbert
as well. Like, you notice they're running a lot of deep routes where it's like this guy's, running for his life the whole entire time. Probably why they moved on from Greg Roman.
Yeah.
Defensively, it was good performance. You were able to keep your offense in it all game. It seemed like kind of the best offense for both teams at times was just the quarterbacks using their legs.
Herbert, also leading rusher for LA, 10 for 57.
That's what I'm saying. So it seemed like some, kind of both of their offenses, that was their best offense, was for them to use their legs. I would have liked a little more out of the Chargers. Also it was weird too, like Omarion Hampton, 2 snaps. Like they said he was injured, but he was good to go, and then they played him.
Oh, so I got hosed, dude. I took Hampton 40 rushing yards, and I was like, wait, this guy's not going to play all night. And then he got 1 carry, so he could lose all the props.
Yeah, he did enough. Yeah, bro. That was
like
fucking.
What was that? The books
was
up.
That was bullshit. But so, outside of that, though, it's just a weird night overall. But
we can talk about Herbert and his playoff woes all we want. Look, he went 19 of 31 for 159 yards. He was running for his life. He got sacked 6 times. No Joe Alt, no Rashawn Slater. Say what you want about Pro Football Focus and their rankings in their grading system, but their left tackle, right tackle, and Mekhi Becton were all respectively bottom 3 at their position according to PFF on the season. And those rankings, I actually will put some weight into because you could see that with your own eyes, right? Like, Justin Herbert's been battling through a broken hand for a month, and the guy just gets absolutely slaughtered out there. So it doesn't mean Herbert doesn't deserve some of the criticism that comes with another playoff loss and now sitting 0-3 in the playoffs, right? But it is just really, really tough to be productive offensively when you don't have time like that. And it's partly why I think Houston can't make it all the way, is because Stroud is in a similar situation. Now, the receiving game for LA here. Say a name and they probably had 2 or 3 catches because that's what the entire stat log looks like. And they had between 20 and 32 yards. Really spread out. Ladd McConkey, for a guy that got so much praise after his rookie year, over the last 8 games of the season, didn't even eclipse
fell off
200
like crazy
yards. It's actually insane to me. And you'd think going against a team like the Pats, where they have a Gonzalez on the outside who did leave with concussion, but you'd think you could probably attack him more in the slot. And when you don't have that pass protection, you'd think the guy in the slot like McConkey who can get open on quick routes would be heavily targeted and part of the game plan. Why do you think McConkey was not targeted that much? Only 4 targets, 3 for 32 yards.
Well, I feel like this has been for a while, maybe that's because they got a lot of guys there, like between the tight end and Gaston, Johnston, the emergence of Trey Harris down the stretch, Keenan Allen. But yeah, it's very weird. You would think, with how good of a rookie year he had, but it seems like, the whole entire season, his usage was weird. There was random boom weeks. That's why we said, do not draft him in fantasy football when people were saying to take him in the second round. That was one we definitely got right. I'd imagine people who drafted him in redraft leagues were not in their fantasy playoffs unless they shipped his ass off. But, for the Chargers, I guess you just hope your line gets healthy next year. I mean, it's a damn shame Herbert's 0-3 in the playoffs. That's going to be a big narrative going forward that he's a playoff choker, can't get it done.
I know, and he's too good for that. It's upsetting.
But, I mean, it is a team sport, but ultimately it's not like, you could point to some other quarterbacks, and it's a hypothetical, but, you put Josh Allen on that team, he's probably elevating him enough to get it done. So, if he wants to be regarded as one of the top ones, he's got to figure out ways to elevate him to get it done and do more than what he did last night.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Chargers have some work to do, but I don't necessarily think they're far off from making a deep run in the AFC.
Yeah, and I mean, with the Patriots, like, just a dominant win. Defense looked great. Offense looked pretty good. You'd like to see more out of Drake May, but, I give him a little bit of pass. It's his first ever playoff game, so I'm giving him a pass here. He's played like an MVP all season. I'd imagine he's going to come out better next week. He's certainly got to come out better next week because you come out like that against Houston, they're not going to, you're not going to be able to get it done. I mean, the good thing is, though, that Houston offense is putrid, so I'd imagine it'll be low scoring, and the X factor will come down to Drake May in that game. And, can he put up points on that Houston defense? I'm betting he can because I've been very impressed with him this season, but it will be a hell of a test on him in that offensive line.
I think both teams will be under 20 points in that game.
Probably.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a low-scoring battle, and what quarterback is going to make the plays later in the game. So you like that Drake May didn't necessarily light the world on fire, but did what he had to do. Let's turn more of those field goals into touchdowns, and you feel pretty damn good about the young quarterback.
Yeah. No, how could you not feel good about him?
All right, well, we're talking about Houston. Let's get to the last game on the docket, Monday Night Football, a 30-6 beat down from Houston to Pittsburgh, but halfway through the third quarter, it didn't really track like that. It was a very, very tight game. I mean, Stroud threw that nasty pick in the red zone when they were only up 7-6, and it's like, fuck, man, like Houston's doing everything they can to shoot themselves in the foot and keep Pittsburgh in this game because Pittsburgh really only got 6 points due to field position that their defense / like what they got them, right? Like they were set up to get those field goals. Like they never really had a major drive downfield and threatened. So it was just like, come on, Houston. Like, come on, Stroud. Make the plays.
Yeah, he kept making the turnovers every time they get it down there.
It's insane, man. That pick was so bad. I mean, sacked 3 times. Stroud fumbled 5 times and lost 2 of them. Which is certainly
some of them weren't his
ideal.
fault, though. Him in the center, something was off all night.
Yes, that is also true. Like the center did snap one into his chest, which I guess technically counts as a fumble from Stroud. But, obviously he did lose 2. Not ideal. Granted, this Steelers defensive front against that Houston offensive line, that advantage Pittsburgh, right? But you got to think every team that Houston would play from here on out, they're going to be at a similar disadvantage. But, I mean, Woody Marks, 19 for 112 and a touchdown. Nick Chubb, even 10 for 48. They were able to run the ball down their throats. And when Stroud threw that pick, I was like, what are they doing? They're averaging like 8 yards a freaking carry with Woody Marks right now. Just keep doing that. You guys have a lead. Your defense is balling. Just keep doing that. And eventually they kind of did go more towards the run. And we mentioned earlier, Christian Kirk, 8 for 144 and a touchdown. Outside of that, not really much going on for the passing attack. But, of course, in the second half, the fumble, the strip sack on Rodgers from Will Anderson, the scoop and score, and then the pick six. Just the perfect storm there. And you got to shout out this Houston secondary, dude. Of course, everyone knows the all-pro Derek Stingley. Kamari Lassiter, second-round pick they took out of Georgia. God damn. Dude is a stud, and you can make the argument the best run stopper at the cornerback position in football. A guy comes up and hits. Third on Houston's defense and tackles, which is crazy from an outside corner. And also Jalen Petrie, the safety / inside corner hybrid, also a freaking stud. Damn, Houston hit on some picks. And also, got to shout out Danielle Hunter, a sack in this one. Maybe one of the most underrated premier pass rushers in our lifetime. He's already has over 110 career sacks. Yeah,
I can't believe I picked these guys to go 7-10 this year. I feel so wrong about it. But
12-5.
I mean,
they were 2-5, and you're like, dude, this looks pretty freaking good.
Yeah, it did look good. I mean, I guess I'm not wrong on the offense. The offense is shit. I just didn't think the defense was going to be this good. I don't even think Texans fans thought they would have like an historic level defense. I mean, it's insane. But, if they win this championship, it certainly ain't going to be because of their offense. I mean, if you think the Texans are going to win, just start throwing some MVP futures on some of the defensive players, I guess.
Yeah, dude, right? Like Will Anderson, Super Bowl MVP, or Daniil Hunter, or Derek Stingley, or Kamari Lassiter, or Jalen Petrie, or Aziz Al-Shair. Like they got some dogs on this defense, bro.
That they do. But listen, I mean, for the Steelers, I mean, like we already talked about it a lot before with Tomlin and stuff. He's out. Like Rodgers is probably done. Just not a whole lot to write home about here. They hung around for a while. Like I will say, if you didn't watch the game, like this game wasn't a blowout till like it was. It was like I think it was 7-6 late in the third. So Steelers were hanging around. Like I thought like they could win this game for sure. And then it kind of one bad play happened on that Rodgers where also he was hit in the head, fumbles it, returned by Sheldon Rankins, and then it seemed like then the floodgates opened. So after that play, but the Steelers were in it, but it's not like they could move the ball much. It seemed like once their scripted plays were done, like the first drive, I was like, oh shit, like the Steelers are moving the ball, and then once they got away from their scripted plays, it was over.
Yeah, dude, it was over. I want to give a shout out to Tej Seth on Twitter. Great tweet today. The Seahawks defense, a perfectly crafted defense from Mike McDonald's mind, being able to play nickel against all looks and scheme up creative pass rushes. The Texans defense, just line it up. Just line it up. We're going to fucking just come and hit you, dude. We don't give a shit about the scheme, what's called. We're just going to go out there and just fucking hit you, dude. And that is how the Texans play. They just got some freaks on that defense. And it's crazy to me because it's like, little look ahead to next week against New England. It's like, man, I picked Houston. I did. And I'm going to stick to my guns here. It's just like offensively, the way Stroud looked, because I just sat there in the third quarter and I'm like, he's playing like shit. Like his defense is totally bailing him out here. He's trying to give the ball to Pittsburgh every opportunity he can. And even, oh my God, before the half, dude, the mistakes that he made, missing Nico when he's running naked on a drag, 15 yards downfield, missing him and giving up 3 points at the minimum. And then I know that the one play, the flea flicker wasn't his fault. Like the guard, Titus Howard, got driven back and right into his lap, and that ball kind of fluttered. And it's like those two plays back to back. It's like, oh my goodness, man. Like make the play, make the throw. It's right there. It's right there. And I was like, he's just trying to give this game away.
Did seem that way.
Makes me a little nervous going into New England. I'm not going to lie. But then
because New England's going to be.
And I'm like, well, who the fuck's getting open at the receiver core for New England? Like, Diggs is going to have to be that guy. He just had 2 for 14. Like, how is New England going to be able to? Because they just hung 16 on LA. I think Houston's defense is a little bit of a step up. But
yeah, I would say so.
I think it's going to be an absolute slugfest from the defensive side of the ball. And it's like, do I have enough confidence in that CJ Stroud that I saw? Who, by the way, the guy has how many playoff games under his belt now? He's won a playoff game his first 3 years in the league. So this is going to be his 6th playoff game. He's never gotten the AFC Championship game. He's already played 5 playoff games. I got to start seeing some better performances out of Stroud in the postseason because it's not like he's leading them to these wins either.
No,
in most instances.
He's a benefactor of an amazing defense for the past couple of years. So he does have to take that next level if they do want to win a Super Bowl because, the defense is going to show up. But if they somehow don't show up or give up 20 points, do they still win the game? I don't know.
I don't know. Like if their defense, they could have lost this game very easily if their defense didn't score twice.
Yeah, I know. That's a crazy thing.
Like their defense scored twice and the floodgates open. But
yeah,
if the defense doesn't get those takeaways and those touchdowns, granted, if my aunt had a dick, she'd be my uncle. But I'm just saying, it's just you got bailed out by this defense, man. And I'm not sold on CJ Stroud as a potential. Like I know he kind of crowned himself after his rookie year, where he put his Instagram story that he was the 3rd best quarterback in the league. Myself, kind of crowned himself in that elite tier. He's definitely not up there, dude. He's not. despite
He's
the
like-
playoff success.
I'm not even sure if
wins.
he's top 16 right now.
That's damn, bro. You're already on the Houston shit list. You don't want to get those Texans fans fired up again.
I don't think he is, but that's whatever.
I think he's probably in that 12 to 16, but I mean, that's an argument for another day because we're out of time on tonight's episode of Around the Felt. Thanks for sticking with us here for the Super Wildcard Weekend recap. You know the boys. We're going to be back later this week to talk some divisional round matchups. Only 4 games to talk about, but hey, if you want to go undefeated again, me and Big G are your guys. Don't listen to this guy over here, Reagan.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I got some research to do for tomorrow's pod.
Yeah, you got some research to do. You took the crown of the regular season, that's for sure. But playoffs, man, that's when the boys become men.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, buddy. We'll see.